What's good, my lady Kimmy? Welcome back to another lovely, beautiful, sexy, amazing video with the equally lovely, equally beautiful, equally sexy, and equally amazing LiTTyENT. I already know what time it is. Now let's go. Now guys, in today's video, we're going to be looking at the top 5 most anticipated UK rap albums of 2024. And we're going to break these down in way more detail. But already know what you got to do. You just got to like, comment, subscribe, keep up to date, and drop a banger like this one. And hit that notey, because you ain't an itty. So you can be the first to know one of these videos comes out. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. And Happy New Year to everyone watching, by the way. And thank you for all your support, all the views, all the comments, all the likes and love that we got in 2023. Let's continue to push and grind even more this year. Now, as I mentioned, this video will be covering the top 5 most anticipated UK rap albums of 2024. Bear in mind that some of these are rumoured and speculated or even predicted albums based on the artist's absence from the scene, and others are actually confirmed albums that we know will be coming in 2024. But without further ado, let's get into it. So at number 5, we have Stormzy with his untitled 4th studio album. Stormzy has now dropped 3 studio albums, which all seem to be roughly about 2 years apart. 2017 with Gang Signs and Prayer, 2019 with Heavy Is the Head, and 2022 with This Is What I Mean, which I believe was going to come out in 2021, but due to COVID and all that nonsense, they had to push it back a little bit. So if I'm going based off that math, it's probably likely that he'll drop one in 2024. Now, normally I would put a heavy UK hitter like Stormzy Pause a lot higher on an album list like this, but I mean, after that garbage last album that he dropped called This Is What I Mean, I'm not gonna lie, Stormzy's got a lot of work to do if he wants to gain the public's interest back in a full body of work from his. Because if that's what he meant, I can't, no comprende over here. We don't understand what you mean, Stormzy, I can't lie.
What? I don't understand.
And if Stormzy's team is listening, I want them to pay very close attention, because from here on out, I'll only be spitting straight facts. If you want this next Stormzy album to be a success in 2024, it needs to be a full-on, or at least a majority-based rap album. You need to tell your boy Stormzy to allow the singing thing immediately. Stormzy is not Jennifer Hudson, he's not Barry White, he's not Ed Sheeran. He's Stormzy. We don't want to hear singing, we want to hear bars. And I get that on the last album, the singing thing did numbers for him. That Hide and Seek song, I believe it's called, got hella streams. So yes, there is an audience for that side of Stormzy, apparently. But my point is that we fed that audience enough now. That audience is overweight. They've eaten way too much. That audience is borderline obese. So let's give the other audience something to sink their teeth into, you know what I mean? Pause. But yeah, if they follow those steps, I'm sure this next Stormzy album will definitely be a success and something people are anticipating this year. Now at number 4, we have DBE Rolling Stone. This is an album that DBE actually announced earlier last month, and it's expected to drop in January of 2024. Of course, in true DBE fashion, they announced this album alongside an O2 tour, which fully sold out for 4 dates in a row, which honestly is absolutely astonishing. Now, I'm not exactly sure what to expect from this next DBE album. A leak did drop on Instagram Live where Young Adz was playing a song which I believe he either sampled or interpolated Drake's In My Feelings. I'll play a little clip of it here.
Do you love me? Cause I love you, and I never ever really wanna hurt you. I got questions, I need answers.
So maybe they'll be getting into their sample bag a little bit on this album, which I haven't really heard them do that much. So, but to be honest, I'm just expecting more of the same DBE style that we've really come to know and love over the years. I can't imagine they'll be doing much experimentation on there, as they never really do. However, I have seen some news stirring up online saying that people, you know, miss the old DBE and that they've changed their sound a bit too much. So I mean, I don't know if I'm hearing something different to everyone else. Maybe the true DBE fans can notice the slight frequency change in the level of auto-tune in some of their tracks, but from where I'm listening, I don't think there's much of a difference. Has their sound evolved from the bando trap house soundtrack of earlier songs like Large Amounts and Nasty? Yeah, of course, but I don't think it's evolved that much. If I want to put it in Pokemon terms, they've like evolved from a Pichu to a Pikachu, whereas everyone's acting like they evolved from a Pichu straight to a Raichu. I don't think it's that deep. I've also put this album at number 4 because DBE have basically given us an album more or less every year, so the anticipation for more music from them isn't as much as other artists. However, the fact that this album is a real tangible album adds more credence to its position on this list than the album prior, if that makes sense.
If you ain't got it by now, then you just ain't getting it.
Now at number 3, we have Skepta with his next studio album called Knife and Fork. If you didn't already know, Skepta's last album was Ignorance is Bliss, and we haven't really seen much from him since then in terms of full-on bodies of work. We have of course got a little EP from him in 2021 called All In, and that EP did have a few decent songs on there, I must say, but outside of that, and outside of the collaborate project that he did with Chip and Young Ads in 2020, we've really been starving for new full bodies of work from him. Skepta did mention that one of the reasons why he wasn't dropping music was because of COVID. He mentioned how he didn't want to drop new music when everyone was stuck inside and they weren't able to fully experience it, but now that that is no longer a buffer, and every UK influencer I see always talks about how Skepta is the bee's knees for women out there. I even saw a video of Skepta at the Met Gala and even had Mary J. Blige feeling a little bit weak in the knees when he spoke to her. So now is no better time for Skepta to use this newfound momentum to drop his next album, or at least get a cameo in Power Book 2 Season 4 at least. It's so crazy because just as I was recording this video, Skepta has posted a picture on Instagram stating that he will be dropping a new album next year. So this album is officially confirmed. Probably gonna have to change the intro now to say the actual name of the album. So Skepta's dropped this picture on Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, he's looking like a bit of an uncle fresh off the boat. I don't know what Skepta's doing here, but he says, and I quote, "It's been years since I dropped my last album, and I want to thank all of you for the love during my hiatus. I've seen the messages, tweets, and TikToks. I'm truly grateful that my music is still resonating with the world, even in my absence." Should have put a full stop after TikToks, I think. This sentence is a bit too long. "I'm happy to announce that my next studio album, #Knife and Fork, is loading this year. The first single, #Gas Me Up, brackets Diligent, will be out January 26th. I can't wait to see you all at Big Smoke Festival. Happy 2024. Oh, I don't know if the album's called Knife and Fork or if it's called #Knife and Fork. I guess that will remain to be seen. But either way, there's an album coming out called Knife and Fork Some. Now at number 2, we have Central C with his first studio album. In one of my most recent videos, I spoke about how Central C needs to drop an album in 2024 in order to continue his domination of the UK music scene, and with his recent signing to Columbia Records for 20 to 25 million, it seems now more likely than ever that we will get a full-on album from him. And I've said in previous videos that this is an album where we need to see a little bit of experimentation from him. I think he has the capacity to do that now, being miles ahead of any other UK rapper in terms of numbers, sales, and notoriety. But of course, he doesn't need to jump the gun too much. Just give us a little bit more than that same flow that he uses over and over. And I think if Central C's team are smart, this album should come out within the second quarter of the year so that it can gain the momentum required to run the summer music scene, which I'm sure those will be the kind of records that Central C will have geared up in his arsenal, as he's shown us previously with songs like Doja, Obsessed With You, and Sprinter. In fact, speaking of Sprinter, at number 1, we have Dave with his third studio album. Now, it's no secret that Dave is one of the top rappers in the UK right now, with his previous single Sprinter dominating the charts for 10 weeks with Central C. But of course, it's Dave's solo efforts where he really shows us how much he can shine, with his debut album Psychodrama coming out in 2019 and earning him the Brit Award for Best Album of the Year, whatever it's called, you know what I mean. And his sophomore album, We're All Alone in This Together, becoming one of the highest first week sales of any UK rap album ever, with 74,000 in the first week. I think it's safe to say that the anticipation for Dave's third solo effort is higher than it's ever been. Also note that again, there has been a 2-year gap between the first and second album, so if we are sticking to that trajectory, it would seem that Dave is long overdue in providing us with that final project to sink our teeth into. The only thing I'll say about this album is that, again, I'm not quite sure what to expect here from Dave on this album. I can't really say that I want Dave to experiment, because he's kind of done that on both albums, to be honest. And with an artist like Dave, there's only so far that you can experiment. He's not like Kanye, you know what I mean? If we're talking about the things I'd like to hear Dave, or the things I want him to talk about, I really want to hear Dave start talking his shit. He needs to be saying, yo, I'm the best in the scene. I'm the king of the UK. You lot can't make albums like me. You lot can't make songs like me. You don't go #1 the way I go #1. I really want to see Dave talking like that on this album, because I believe that he's earned it, and he's earned that bravado. He's earned that braggadocious type of nature to inject into his songs now. I mean, other rappers be saying this type of stuff and their album don't even make it into the top 10. So, I mean, so. $100,000 for the cheapest ring on the nigga finger, little bitch. If anyone should be talking like that, it's Dave. But yeah, in the words of Heady One,
it's a bit of a sticky one still.
but let me know if you think about this in the comment section down below. Do you agree with the order that I've put these albums in terms of anticipation? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also let me know if there's any albums that you're anticipating that I did not include in this list. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. On the road to 2,000 subs. You already know what time it is. You follow my personal IG at the LiTTyENT. If you care about what I do, I'm not making these bangers for you. I bet. Peace.
Oh, you ain't know I could sing.